Hello, my fellow Ekkoliners. I'm back, and in this video, I'll just be talking a little bit about how I've been, where I've been, some realizations that I've had, especially regarding this channel, but also maybe regarding my life. I might go off on a tangent, and then also about the future of this channel. So, yeah, I will try to keep this video completely real, not make many cuts or any at all, if possible. But yeah, I wrote down like a small outline just so I don't completely lose track of all the things I want to talk about. So yeah, first of all, I guess, where have I been? Well, as you can see around me, it's a different scenery. I moved out, so yeah, that's definitely something that I had like already in the beginning of the year. I wasn't feeling very happy at home, so I already had this like goal of moving out, but yeah, not being able to move out for such a long time, it definitely didn't feel good. So yeah, now I did move out, and I'm gonna be honest, like it's definitely good. Like everything's like very good overall, but in my head, it's still not. It's not like I'm suddenly happy, because there's this one quote. I actually wrote that down because I think it's very fitting to this, and I like now I have actually experienced it to be completely true, and it's like the place where one lives can contribute little towards tranquility. It is the mind which must make everything agreeable to itself. So it's always going to be in your head. It doesn't matter where you live. If you don't have peace inside yourself, you're not gonna have it anywhere. And I'm working on that. I have the awareness that it's not truly inside of me yet, but yeah, everything's in steps. And I've also come to realize that as well. It's something that over this year, there's been so many ways where so many situations in which I just wanted to achieve things without like putting in the work, without understanding that good things take time. So yeah. Then another thing, I guess, what I've done a lot is like trying to find a purpose. It's like, I stopped creating these videos. I just had nothing to do. So um, I filled basically, instead of actually trying to find a purpose, I just filled this hole that League left with like countless other things. Like let it be weed, let it be watching like series on Netflix and this kind of stuff, watching countless YouTube videos. So that kind of gave me the realization that I think actually creating these YouTube videos is is a good purpose, like teaching people the game, all this stuff, like making videos is something that I really enjoy. And I'll talk about it in a second, like with the realizations that I've had. Is that like I just created so many ways for myself that stopped me enjoying all of these things. It stopped enjoying. It made me stop enjoying creating videos. It made me stop enjoying teaching people Echo, because I had these like bad goals. So yeah, I think I've become aware of that. So I don't think the problem is ever with like creating YouTube videos and whatever, especially if you're someone that enjoys it like me. So I think I will be back for now for good, but with a very different approach, because well, the approach that I've had throughout this year was simply not healthy, and it was from a place of insecurity, from a place of trying to fill holes that are like not actually there. Like every hole you have in your inside yourself is just something you put there in your head. So that's definitely a big realization that I've had. So yeah, I guess um I'll talk about some of the realizations and how they tie into the future of this channel. First of all, I guess the biggest one, which hurt me the most, like especially in the last couple of months, is that I feel like I've lost my identity. And like this is that's kind of also why I was so emotional in like the last video I made. It's like I just especially whenever I'm around my friends right now, I just often feel like I'm not being real, and that's a big problem. And that's something I always used to like respect a lot about myself. I was being real. Sometimes maybe I would say like certain things that are a little bit like extreme. Not extreme. Extreme is a bad word. I think it could imply many bad things. But it's like I would say I would just speak my mind, and not be apologetic of it. And I kind of through a lot of experience throughout this year, um, this part of me just kind of died. You know, I became very insecure. I didn't. I stopped speaking my thoughts. For example, another things like with the raging in League and whatever. Of course, it's a bad thing, you know, but in a way, it's me, and it's just something that I tried my hardest to suppress. And the more you suppress things, the more you just kind of lose self-respect for yourself. You just stop being yourself, and like people realize this, you know. This is something that I've realized extremely like hard is a bad word, but you know what I'm trying to say. You know, there's something I really realized, especially in the last couple of months when I'm around my friends, that like they can tell in a way that I'm not really being that real in a lot of ways, and I'm just not being real to myself either. So that reflects in like every aspect of your life. It reflects in the content creation, but most importantly, of course, it just reflects like in social interactions and everything like that. So it's 100% something I'm working on, just being real again. And that's also a reason, for example, why I'm not gonna cut this video. You know, I just want to talk. You know, if I lose a train of thought or whatever, that's how it is. You know, deal with it. So yeah. Then the next thing I guess is just like creating rules. You know, I created rules for myself. Like for example, saying I'm gonna upload videos daily. I'm gonna stream every day, and these kind of rules that like nobody even asked me to create. You know, it was just. And then whenever I didn't abide by those rules, I just was disappointed in myself, and it's just a very negative feedback loop that helped nobody. You know, it just made my content worse, and yeah, just very bad. And these are not even the only rules. I also created rules in my life, you know, especially when it came to like allowing thoughts in my head and whatever, this kind of stuff, and like controlling thoughts in my head is a very bad thing that I think I kind of got into the habit through meditation. It's like, I'm not saying at all that meditation is bad, like, it's a really good thing, but if it comes from the place that you feel like you want to control your thoughts more, it's a bad thing, you know, and that's kind of where it came from because I remember when I started meditating, it was like I just wanted my head to be more quiet, you know, so I wanted to control it, suppress it. And nobody told me that that was a bad thing, you know, I just realized that basically a week ago. So it's like, or maybe a little bit longer, but it's a really bad thing. And yeah, like setting these rules for my life, that also 100% led to me kind of losing my identity and like not being real anymore. Um, kind of on the same note of that is also just becoming a people pleaser. You know, I really became a people pleaser because I was often not able to handle criticism in like some of my YouTube videos. You know, like the criticism in my videos was actually very tame, probably compared to a lot of other creators. But yeah, like one criticism that I got, for example, is like speaking with an upward inflection at the end of my sentences. You know, so like making everything sound like a question, basically, even when they're not questions. And you know, like maybe if you've been listening to me here, like you can just come to the conclusion that it's just been because of insecurity. You know, like the reason I talk like that, I don't think I'm talking like that right now. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. It's like because I was just insecure in basically every single thing that I said, you know. So yeah, and I think it all kind of like there's a lot of components to it, and I'm not gonna go to into absolutely everything, you know, like regarding my life. Some of it is private, but definitely like one thing is just this kind of criticism that I got, you know, like people telling me I talk weird or this kind of stuff, and I just let it get to me, and I tried to change things and whatever instead of just like, you know, fuck them. You can make everyone happy, and like of course like always talking in this kind of ways it's not a good thing. And of course I think especially as I said, I don't think at the moment I'm doing it. So um it's just a natural thing, you know, and if you're naturally insecure with everything, then you're just gonna talk in that way, I guess. So yeah. And another thing I guess with the people pleaser thing is just and also I would say a non-insignificant reason why I kind of quit the YouTube is just because I have not gotten any actual like recognition or support towards it from like the people around me, you know, like my friends, my family. Like none of them are saying like stop doing it or whatever, but also nobody ever told me like, oh wow, that's so cool, you're making YouTube videos, you know, or at least not for a long time. And that's not a bad thing, you know, but it felt like a bad thing, but honestly, like I just shouldn't care, you know. And I've realized that if it's something that I do enjoy, and I'm just being myself when I do these videos, then who cares if my friends approve of it or whatever, you know. That's not what it's about, and that's not what it should be about. So another realization, I guess. And then yeah, I guess the last one that also really kind of ruined the fun for me in a lot of ways, especially in League of Legends specifically, is just like setting goals, you know. Setting goals that are not within like the natural growth mindset that you should have to be like a healthy functioning human being. And like those were goals like reaching grandmaster or challenger even. And like the like reasoning behind those goals were usually just so I could make more money, you know. So I could say like my coaching, so I could have a reason for my coaching prices to be like higher or whatever because I have more credibility and this kind of stuff. And it's just a really bad reason, you know. You should be playing the game because you enjoy it, because you enjoy like getting better and this kind of stuff, and not because you want to reach a certain rank. And that's actually something like a lot of, I see it in my Discord all the time. Like people, as soon as someone even mentions their rank and whatever, like, oh, I dropped from Emerald 4 to, or like I dropped from Emerald 2 to Emerald 4, and bro, as soon as you mention that, I already see that you have the wrong mindset, you know. So yeah, some of you might feel like attacked right now or like called out, but it's just how it is. You really shouldn't. And like, of course, I'm saying I also suffered from the same thing, so it's not like you're a bad person for it or anything like that. I'm just saying it's not a productive thing at all. So yeah. And then the other goal I guess I had is just in general to be able to live of content creation, right? Like being able to live of YouTube, being able to live of like live streaming. And first of all, again, it's just not a growth mindset thing. It's just like a destination that I want to reach. And like I should just my goal should just be to make better videos or make better live streams and this kind of stuff. It should really not be to have financial freedom or this kind of bullshit, you know. And that's why I put like so much pressure on myself. That's why I just stopped enjoying it. I really stopped enjoying it. And like you can believe me that of course like everyone who start, or like basically every successful YouTuber just started out because they enjoyed the YouTube, or like enjoyed making videos, you know. And that's me as well. I never made videos because I wanted to be a coach or anything like that. Like the first coaching session that I made was just like some guy asking me, "Hey, can you coach me?" You know, like I never even thought about it. So like these kind of things happen when you're just being, and back then I was of course just authentic. You know, I created guides for Echo because I love teaching people. You know, I always thought, what a waste. You know, I'm so good at Echo. I want to like tell people, or I want to show them how I play. I want to tell them how to be better at Echo and this kind of stuff. Like back then I was truly authentic, and that's why things like him being like wanting to get coached by me and whatever, that they just happen naturally. And that's how you should live your life, you know. But that then I kind of got the taste for like success, let's say, where I felt like, you know, maybe if I try a bit harder or whatever, I could actually be able to live off of it. And like, yeah, sure, that would be really great. But um, I mean, that's something that's not like a recent realization either, you know. Like, I think I've talked about this many times in my live streams as well, where I've just realized that this kind of pressure that I put on myself and this kind of goal is just not good. But at the same time, I just had nothing else to do, and I just felt trapped. So yeah, I think you get my point here. So of course, from now on, like my goal will just be make videos, make videos. I guess I can go into the future of the channel with that. Um, so first of all, I'm not gonna promise anything anymore. You know, like I think that there's this saying, right? Like the best way to keep promises is to just not make any. And I think that's the kind of way I'll live my life from now on. I mean, I didn't make too many promises, but whenever I did and I didn't keep them or anything like that, it's just, of course, it feels bad, you know. And of course, you lose self-respect as well. Like a lot of it is about self-respect here, if you can tell. So yeah, I just like, for example, the kind of promise that's in my YouTube banner right now with like daily Echo videos, like that's just not gonna happen. So there's not gonna be this kind of clear structure anymore. I will be creating the content that I want to create, and I guess, okay, I'm not promising here, but like I wrote these down because I think those are things that I still want to make content about. So like the game reviews, definitely one thing. I always enjoyed that, right? Like basically reacting to videos and whatever, or like just going in a game of like a good Echo player, just looking at how they play, analyzing it a little bit. Like there's something, first of all, it doesn't require me to play the game. And it's also something that I just genuinely enjoy and I think a lot of people can learn from. Then another thing is like the coaching. I guess I will be, I'm not 100% certain on how I will handle that. You know, I don't want to, I might maybe like edit those coaching sessions a bit more, you know, so they're more watchable instead of just raw unedited coaching stuff with not too much. And if I don't have this pressure of uploading a video every single day, you know, then I also have more time to actually edit a video like that. So yeah, maybe that's something, but I'm not 100% on that. Then of course, like patch reviews, I think is something where I will just make patch reviews that are kind of focused on how the patch might affect Echo, for example. And if there's like a patch, for example, that where I have the feeling that it's just simply not gonna affect Echo at all, I might just skip out on it, you know. So yeah, and then of course the new season coming up soon. For sure, there's gonna be a lot of videos, especially regarding like itemizations and like maybe even gank paths and this kind of stuff. So yeah, you can for sure expect some videos there, I guess. That's not like a promise I'm intending to not keep, but if I don't keep it, like it is what it is, you know. I told you so, I guess. And then yeah, maybe, you know, another thing I might be interested in branching out in is like videos like this, you know, where I'm just talking about certain topics. Of course, I know like most of you guys are here because of like Echo and like because of like maybe learning about Echo and whatever. Most of you are not here because of me, probably. And you don't have to be, of course, absolutely not. But I actually do enjoy making these kind of videos, and I also think they're probably a very good practice to just becoming real again, you know? Especially like this exact kind of video where I'm just talking, no editing, and like I'm just letting my thoughts flow, I guess. You know, before this video, I actually thought it would be much more difficult to like get my thought. I thought I would lose my train of thoughts way more often, but now that I'm just talking like this, it's actually not that difficult. You know, I'm just actually being real, and it makes me feel kind of good right now. So yeah, for example, like topics like psychology, philosophy, like this kind of stuff is something I wish I had a platform to talk about. And like maybe there's some connections between like Echo and like or like gaming in general, where for sure, like right, like psychology and gaming, there's for sure connections there and topics to be talked about. So yeah, if I ever feel like um I come up with a good topic to talk about there, then I might make a kind of video like this and talk about something like that, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's all the things I wrote down. Last thing, I guess, is that I have some kind of exciting things planned for the future. I'm not gonna say too much about it yet because I will make a whole nother video, I guess, like this about it, which is gonna be about some mentorship program that I'm planning. It's something like, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually have never seen it in like the League of Legends space, but yeah, one thing about like the current coaching that I'm doing is that it has very mixed results, you know? Like some people they have amazing results because like usually they probably just had more in them, that there was just a small thing that had to click. And then there's others where I maybe have coached them even multiple times and the results are kind of small compared. Mm, so I thought like what I would really like is if there's people that I can coach regularly, you know, and like really be there for them and like also look at like a lot of circumstances and whatever. Okay, I said I'm not gonna talk about it too much. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, I guess if you enjoyed this video, if you're maybe happy that I'm back, be sure to like the video. And yeah, have a great day, my fellow Ekkoliners. Goodbye.